the show.
Okay, I'm not trying to troll people. I just have a question for Americans. This is a serious question. It looks like Trump is trying to destroy America's economy. The amount of money he wants $1.5 trillion to continue for our military next year, and then they want 200 billion, I think, to continue this war in Iran. And when I look at it, it looks like he's trying to destroy our economy for no reason. He started off by saying they wanted to go to war with Iran because they were attacking their citizens. Why the fuck as American do I care what Iran's doing to their citizens? I don't give a fuck. It's not my country, right? Then he said they want to do it because of nuclear weapons. There's already nuclear weapons. Israel has nuclear weapons. Pakistan has nuclear weapons. Russia has. Iran wouldn't be stupid enough to use a nuclear weapon if they built one, and they don't have one. And I don't think Americans have to worry. Game over. We already have nuclear weapons in China and Russia that can take out America. So them saying that we want to break our economy, and I want to ask Americans, is it worth it for the chance that if this war continues like this, food prices, which are already 120% high, go higher, in which you can only eat canned beans and rice made in boxes because we don't have urea coming from the Strait of Hormuz for farming. Is it they're saying they're going to cut student loans for kids. So if your kids want to go to university, they can't go because they can't get loans anymore. Cut schools. Um, Prices of gas might go up to $6. Are you willing to go through all of that to make sure that Iran doesn't have nuclear energy, not for weapons, or even to stop them from a nuclear war? Are you really willing to go through that? I'm not making this up. You can do your research. If this Strait of Hormuz thing continues till November, we're going to have a global depression. And in America, we're going to have a depression. People are going to be laid off. There'll be no money for schools. And like I said, we won't starve to death, but you'll have to eat beans. You won't be able to buy deodorant. You're going to have to stink at work. Okay. You're going to have to buy, instead of buying Angus beef steak, you're going to have to buy sardines in a can. You're not going to be able to buy cars. You're not going to be able to send your kids to college. You're going to be in big trouble. People are going to get evicted. So I'm asking you a question: is it really worth it? It'll be different if Mexico put missiles on their border and pointed them to America, or Mexico said they want to get nuclear energy. Maybe we should go to war. But is this really going to war? And we have to ask ourselves: every week Trump is making money off of this war, and every week he's betting, he's manipulating the markets, saying that, oh, we're not going to go to war. We are, and he's making money. So Trump's getting rich, his children are getting rich, Raytheon's getting rich, everybody's getting rich, and we're going to have to tighten the belt. So I'm just asking, is it really worth it? Now, what was the point you were making, Afolabi, about how they're just pumping the money from war profits? What was the point you were telling me earlier?
Yeah, so basically what I was saying was that, I mean, it's been a long time. Even the CIA, validates this, that it's been a long time American policy that funding of wars and going into wars is what will keep the American economy out of recession. And how do they do this? They basically don't care about the economy on the long run. What they do is that they award contracts to the Raytheons and the Lockheed Martins to continue to supply munitions. And then the influential politicians who have shares in these big companies enjoy the windfall that comes from all of this. And talking about the issue of the Strait of Hormuz, I mean, if this choke point continues, it's going to lead the world into a catastrophic recession, and it's going to affect America too. For instance, diesel that is distilled from crude oil is a very, very important raw material for nitrogen-based fertilizers like ammonia, which is very important for farming. Trucking and agriculture is going to be affected. Diesel is the lifeblood of the physical economy. Tractors, payloaders, trucks, heavy machineries, all the 18-wheelers that stock groceries onto shelves all run on diesel. Now, if there's high diesel price, it's going to force independent trucking companies into bankruptcy, and it will increase overhead cost for farmers as well as consumer goods and groceries. Fertilizers will skyrocket. So basically, there's no point continuing with this mindless initiative by Trump of continuing in this route with Iran. It doesn't make any sense at all. They're just
No.
enriching themselves at the expense of the economy. It's going to affect food prices. If you look at public schools and colleges, all these bursaries and endowments are going to be eroded completely. And school fees is going to be out of reach for working class families. basically driving down enrollment. So it's not going to help the country on the long run. It's just going to help if a privileged few that happen to be in government. So it doesn't make any sense, really.
No, it doesn't make sense. And here's the worst part: the trillions that we're spending on war are on outdated weapons. Iran has better missiles and drones than America. You know why? Because their students know how to do math. They have good engineers, better engineers than America. Here's the funny thing: they said Iran treats women badly. 80% of Iranian women have college degree. I don't know what the number in America is. It's less than 50. Iranian women are smarter than American men and women based on the stats. And you know why? Because they don't spend their money on military. They spend most of their money on education and science and development. We're saying that Trump said that daycare is not important and schools aren't important. That's why in the future we're going to lose wars. You don't raise healthy kids, you don't raise smart kids. America can't make a hypersonic missile. Anybody watching our show in the comments, drop me. Why are we so stupid that we can't make hypersonic missiles? Answer me. All you motherfucking white boys on the shows who say, oh, I'm lying. Why can't we make hypersonic missiles? Russia can make them, China can make them, but we can't. Why can't we make $20,000 drones that can strike down the whole US satellite system? Why can't we? Because Raytheon and those companies that are taking all the trillions from our tax money where we don't have daycare, they're not putting it for the weapons. They're putting it into their pockets. I live near McLean, Virginia. $1.6 million houses. Every family has two cars, two Jeeps, a Lexus and an Acura or whatever. All of this money comes from them with the weapons. The weapons manufacturing business in America is a scam. It's not even used for the army. That's all I have to say. What are your thoughts, Alex?
Hmm. I think, the tragedy of all this lies in the realization, that a nation is um it it's finally winning the world in a way, only to find it has lost its soul. It's like we're watching a managed decline, where the high altitude victory of global primacy is being paid for by the silent, hollowed out lives of the people on the ground, parents staring at empty cupboards, children sitting in crumbling classrooms, and a a generation of men whose social contract is being shredded to a fuel to fuel a fleet of ships half a world away. It is just heartbreaking.
Yeah,
Uh, it is the heartbreaking portrait of an empire that has become so efficient at protecting its borders that it has forgotten the people within those borders. So it's really treating the actual life expectancy of American people and mental peace of its people to just have this immortal status. So in the
yeah.
end, is it really going to be a triumph, like long term, even if they achieve what they want to achieve, the power that they want to gain? Is it going to be worth a triumph when there's no one who's going to be there? Who's
Well,
still going to be there? The wealthy people.
here's the question. What have they achieved? They got their asses whooped. Here's what they achieved. They achieved in getting all of the U.S. bases in the Middle East bombed out. Americans are hiding in hotels. American soldiers are living in hotels so they can't be struck. They've achieved in destroying the UAE, which is their partner, so that very clearly UAE can no longer have water. If America goes through with its threats to bomb Iranian bridges, Iran will destroy all the infrastructure, the water infrastructure, because UAE doesn't have they need desalinization. We've achieved in going into deficit, and also we've achieved making Iran stronger by killing the Khomeini. They gave more power to the Iranian Guard, who controls the country, and now they control it, and they control the oil war. So actually, we've actually lost this war because Iran actually stood up to the U.S. and made them go to the negotiation table, and Trump is throwing a temper tantrum now because he can't get the blockade gone. So actually, we didn't even achieve anything. We lost. The only thing achieved was that the banks made money and Trump made money. The Americans have lost during this war. It's degraded America's economic status. And on top of that, it's going to cause a depression in America. It's not going to cause a depression in Russia, which is selling oil to everybody now because of the blockade. It's not going to cause a depression in Iran. Iran has oil too, and they're already at the lowest point they can be. All it's going to do is going to weaken America and weaken its allies. What do you think, Afalabi?
You're absolutely right. I mean, they've lost this war on almost every front. I mean, look at the expensive war equipment that they've lost during this war. Most of these war equipments are going to be replaced one way or the other, and it will take months, not just days. And it will take a lot of money, I dare say. And if you look at it, a lot of these funds, I mean, mindless war it was, would have been at least saved. They have to replace them one way or the other. It's not like an Iranian drone that cost a fraction of some of this sophisticated weaponry that America has. So on that front alone, it's going to affect the economy, whether they like it or not. And then you look at the US economy, it relies so much on financial engineering and cheap imports. But if you look at the way their approach and their philosophy, this hegemonistic kind of behavior, they have to remain predatory on other nations in order to preserve themselves because they see it as an existential threat, so to speak. Basically, by using sanctions, forcing the dollar use, and all this strategy is what keeps them. They believe is what keeps them alive. So I feel that they'll continue to go down this lane. It's just that Trump has gone a bit too far with this strategy. But I think as America will continue to pursue this self-preservative but self-destructive route, but it would then lead to a multipolar kind of world at the end of the day because all these nations have realized that America is predatory to preserve themselves, and they're already looking for alternatives, how to get themselves into another financial system that doesn't use the dollar, how to begin to transact outside the American and the Western influence. So this war is an eye-opener that America is in it for themselves and themselves alone.
Yeah, here's what I say. This is the war that Iran was praying for because through this war, it actually won its sovereignty. And moving forward, oil from Iran is going to be bought in yen or in gold. So it's new
Sure.
economic system.
Sure.
So what I'm trying to say is Iran is happy that America attacked them because you know they're going to attack you anyway, and they keep killing your people. So let's get it's something like when the doctor tells you you have to go get your injection for for
Vaccination.
vaccination. It's painful, but you have to do it. So this is the vaccination for Iran. Thank you, America, for going to war with them because you actually destroyed yourself. The Wicked Witch is dead. The Wicked Witch committed suicide. That's what America's doing, is committing suicide. It's over. China makes a car better than Tesla for $10,000, and they don't use human beings. A Tesla car is 70,000 US dollars, and the Chinese Tesla is better.
Of course,
China makes
better. It's cheaper.
10,000 ships a week automated for so China's the industrial giant of the world. And in a few years they're going to go beyond fuel. Once they go beyond oil, America will have no power over them because China needs oil. So what I'm saying is the game over. America is lost. So I'm going to end with this. Americans, you're watching your country walk down a war and you ain't doing shit. You're sitting down watching Instagram and all that shit. And you're about to when you go to the grocery store in a couple of weeks, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. All right, last thoughts, Alex, and we're out.
I really, yeah, you just really made me think in terms of the yen thing. Like, if Iran were to move to trading oil for gold or yen, that would
Yeah.
effectively pull the rug from under the American economy, literally. And the
Yep.
US superpower status is based on the world needing dollars to buy energy. And if that
Yep.
need disappears, the US can no longer export its inflation or fund its $2 billion a day war habit. So this shift wouldn't just weaken the dollar, it turns it into a local currency, while the rest of the world would move on to a new non-American financial system, which would make everyone happy, if I'm
Yeah.
being honest. So yeah, that's my final
Ding
thought.
dong.
It's really crazy. I hope
As
Iran
an
actually
American,
does it.
as an American citizen, I'm saying, ding dong, the witch is dead. The wicked witch, the wicked witch. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead. I'll probably take us out.
Okay, it's been
Yeah,
another
what?
brilliant show. We have been discussing America's mindless war with Iran and how this has boomeranged basically and opened everybody's eyes and how the world will become multipolar ultimately. And from Mustafa and Alex will be back again with another interesting political story. Bye for now.